Kind of just let it play for a little bit, and then really it's like it's a minute and 20 seconds. What always happens, and everybody can hear us right now too, by the way, but I don't know, I kind of like that. I don't know, I feel like there's something kind of cool about like letting it, the intro music and nobody can see anything yet, and then these voices just kind of come in. But I always feel like I never wait for the thing to finish. I never wait for the intro to finish. I always get too antsy. I'm like, it's been too long. I don't know. I'm primed. Yeah. I'm conditioned by the all the social media stuff. All right, but this is a good chance to test. It should automatically transition, and it does. I don't even have to do that anymore. You guys, we don't even have to do anything anymore. Like robots are going to be doing everything for us. It's almost here. We don't even have to do social media posts. We just have to say, hey, robot, make a social media for me, and then it's kind of crazy. In fact, I just watched this video today that was this really, really well done marketing video selling a school system or a tutorial, a 10-day class on AI and how to use it to basically get clients, create an AI-powered marketing business. And it was pretty amazing. I mean, just the video that was selling the class was extremely well done. But in the video, the guy that was presenting it, he gave a wonderful presentation. It was very, his voice was very engaging. Everything about it was really good. And then at some point, he transitioned to being an AI version of himself. And it was pretty hard to tell. This is one of the first times I saw that, and I was like, I would have thought that was probably a real person. That's getting spooky, you guys. I'm just saying that. Like, I know people don't want to get spooked out by this stuff, whatever. It's just AI. It's harmless. We're not supposed to be conspiracy theorists or whatever. But the moment that stuff gets commandeered, anyway, that's a whole other angle. We're not going to get into that. But we're going to talk music today. Today I'm joined by Jericho. His name is James Castillo, stage name Jericho, and he's coming by way of, I'll say LA, but there's I think you're more focused in maybe a particular areas within LA, but let's say LA. And I'm excited to get to talk to him. It's been a long time, and he's been active in the scene out there. I'm always seeing different things that he's engaged in, from hosting an open mic to playing gigs all over the place. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring him on scene here, and we'll get into it. What's up, James?
Hey, Noah, how are you?
Pretty good. I was supposed to cut the grass today and didn't do that. Just that kind of day. Instead, I put on half of a roof onto a gazebo and cut down a tree branch. So
that's productive.
It was something.
Yeah, that was still very productive, because here in Southern California with life going on, it's hard to get those like little things out of the way. Well, we'll call them like little things, right?
Yeah.
Because but getting it done like is a win. Like today, my win is being able to go to the DMV without an appointment and be given service within 2 hours. So that's a win.
I've forgotten about that. We have to wait in line out here in Charleston as well, but not quite like that. Yeah. LA is another beast, another animal. But the traffic out here is still pretty bad. But anyway, that's the kind of days. Yeah, you take those small wins. Got to be happy about the small wins. Sometimes it's nice to just have a day where you have a couple small wins, celebrate those just little wins, and that's nice. So, all right, let's get into music a little bit, and so let's talk about what have you been up to? Maybe first you can just give an introduction to yourself, maybe how you would describe your style and how you got into music for anybody that doesn't know you, which is probably a bunch of people that will see this in Charleston.
Cool. So, my musical stylings is pretty diverse. I listen to a lot of music. So, whether it's rock, metal, hip hop, country, you name it, I'm probably gonna entertain it because like there's value. I feel like there's value like in listening to different types of music that you could take in influences and stylings and chord voicings and a lot of different things. So I'm open to listening to everything, but my main style is pop R&B. I love Motown. I love 90s pop, early 2000s R&B. I just love like the whole like, hip hop culture that comes with it. It's very brash and it's very arrogant. It's very confident. And the history of hip hop too. Like it's very uplifting. If you come to look at it, why it's been created. It's a way to get people together, and that's what I want to do with music. I want to bring everybody from different backgrounds and everything to a show and say, hey, people are saying that there's a lot of like difference between us, but for a 90-minute set or something, however long, we're all agreeing and saying, hey, we are rocking to You're My Lady, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
You're my lady, my one
yeah,
and only lady.
right.
That's for those that don't know. That's yeah, that's James. Uh, that's the classic. That's a classic. That's like
Classic,
from at
classic.
least yeah from when I was in Long Beach. That was a song that we would hear, and it just gets you just people would know. That was what we even talked about. Reminds me when we had a conversation about that at one point about how cool that is that a song to whatever degree catches with a community, and
Right.
that song caught with the Long Beach community and kind of that whole scene out there, and hit a whole bunch of people that would know sort of the backing parts. So if you went to any different spot, probably there are going to be some folks there that are going to join in, and know your song, and I just think that's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's the classic one. Y'all got to hear that song. So do you have you recorded that song? Yeah.
I have. It's
Okay.
on Spotify.
Okay. Sweet.
It's been there since like 2016, and I just in the learning curve, we say that, hey, I want to have music out there for people to listen to, but what we don't realize is the amount of promotion and pushing
Yeah.
we have to do to be like, hey, I'm on Spotify, listen to it,
Yeah.
or I'm on YouTube, it's free, listen to it.
Yeah.
um I just haven't pushed it as much as I would like, the last few years.
That's what I'm just wrapping my head around. I've been gigging so much for a few years. Like
Right.
post COVID, I just started gigging like all the time, just
Mm-hmm.
gig, to the point that
Yeah.
I was burning myself out, and but I'm glad I did that, and I kind of had to do that on some level. But and I think it's good to do that. I think it's good to do that because you got to put the time. You got to put time in. It just teaches you a lot, and you can't learn stuff any other way than just going out and doing it. But one of the ideas that I had in my head was that in going out there and being engaged in a scene or having all these performance opportunities, that's one of the ways you're going to build your following and you're going to build this. And I feel like you can do it that way if you're extremely charismatic. If you're
Right.
if you're extremely charismatic, you can do that way. If you're not extremely charismatic, I mean, you have to. Yeah, it just it doesn't it's not it doesn't happen. It doesn't
Right.
happen by accident. It doesn't happen by accident. And
Right.
so yeah, so then when you go to want to promote your songs, anyway, I'm learning that, I'm studying that right now, that the promotion side of things, you put out this music for free, and you have all these people that to some level are aware of what you're doing, but it is a job to get them to actually go listen to it, and
Mm-hmm.
and you really got to motivate people to want to do that. But the upside is, if you can create that motivation, I mean, the internet is this free operating world where everybody's out there, and if you can find a way to get people to, want enough to go check out your thing, it's right there at your fingertips. It's just
Mm-hmm.
so it's an interesting anyway. Yeah, the promotion side of things. I've been studying that a ton, and yeah, it seems like you have to make a ton of content for any one song, and just
Right.
try this, and then throw the
Right.
paintball. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, something that I've just been digging into lately. So 100%. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that side of things?
I think, like you could be like the most talented artist out there. You could write the catchiest song out there. But if they don't hear like on the radio, then they're not gonna make the extra effort to go look you up
Yeah. Yeah.
on Spotify. You know what I mean? So, um, and I actually got asked this question, when I was hosting or when I was participating at an open mic like not too long ago. I'm a social worker in the daytime, and they're very much aware that I do music on the side. And one of the audience members who's a regular over there, she's had a couple of drinks in her, and she came up to me while I was packing up. She was like, "Why are you a social worker? Like you could be doing this full time and be performing and making a living out of this." And I mean, I just thought to myself, well, you don't stream my music, you don't go to my shows, this is the only place where I see you, and I'm playing like 3 hour sets like next door, so like you don't go to that one, you know what I mean? So it was like, and if I put out
Yeah.
merch, you're probably not gonna buy it, so how am I gonna make money out of this,
Yeah.
it's like, so but I also know that your personality, like people fall in love with who you are as a person, and your
Yeah.
personality, and as you said, like your charisma, no matter like how great like your song is, because they still want the human element, behind it. Like, what is the song, or how is the songwriter like? What is he about?
Yep.
I've definitely met people like in LA, the Silver Lake area, talented as hell, great songwriters. Songs are catchy as fuck, and you're thinking to yourself, yo, like this dude should be on the radio. Like I could hear Katy Perry and this guy and another pop artist like Olivia Rodrigo, like back to back on the radio, and then you get to talking to them, like, and you just get like a weird vibe. They're just very closed off, and I was like, that's the reason why
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
hasn't gotten a following. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's the music. The music only takes you so far,
Yeah.
and I think and a big part of it is, I mean, so much of the music has to mean something to whoever's listening to it, and that the
Right.
performance has to mean something to whoever's listening to it. And I think one of the
Hmm.
biggest ways that is that they have to feel that you personally care about them and you're invested in their success,
Right.
and that the show is really about them. And that's kind of a transformation that has to occur. I think as you develop, right? Because at the
Yeah.
beginning, it is kind of about you, right? I mean, how else? I don't know that it could start really many other ways. Because I mean, I'm sure it could, but for the most part, the reason that you get into performing is because you want to.
Hmm.
You don't get into performing because you think you're going to develop this skill that then you're going to be able to help people. I think
Right.
that's not usually the way that it starts. But eventually you can start to see that, oh, okay, the performance, if I really push past this point, it's not really about me anymore. It's at least that's what it's been like for me. You have to learn that. You have to learn that because initially, I mean, you can maybe attest to this, that when you first start out, and people can see the newness, they can see the freshness. We were just talking about this before we went live. It's very easy for people to get really excited and support you.
Hmm.
And but it's like it can't stay that way. I don't know. It's really probably pretty rare if it actually stays that way, where it's just people are excited about the new thing, and then
Right.
yeah,
It,
yeah,
it's it's kind of like, you're as a performer, like your relationship with your audience is kind of like your own like little individual, relationships, with a girlfriend or something, right? You can't always be like in the honeymoon period,
yeah,
because like
yeah.
you're gonna start learning more about each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so it's like,
That's a
oh,
good way to put it.
she
I like
does
that.
that, she does that, and I don't really like it, and that could be with the songwriter that you just met, and really enjoy his music, and then he played, one song. I was like, I'm not digging that song. That like, it doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like, so but. but the key is, with success, like in the music business, especially with garnering like a following, like you don't get to the radio anymore like the traditional way, where you get like discovered at an open mic, or somewhere, and then like an A&R guy is gonna be like, okay, we are gonna build you. Now, like those big labels and those A&R guys, like what they want is someone with a following already, because they don't have to invest that much moolah
Yeah.
in making you,
Yeah.
because you're already made.
Yep. Exactly.
You're already like generating profit. So why would we change, something that's already working?
And that's what I'm
So
studying too. That I mean, once you have, if you do develop a following, then it's not really in your best interest to sign with them anyway. They
yeah.
try to get you in, but
Hmm.
it's probably in your best interest to just to continue to do it yourself and be independent. So you own
Yeah.
everything, and
Hmm.
and that is one of the, I think, things that's exciting about right now is it does seem to be possible, even if it's a long shot or even if it's difficult, it does seem
Right.
to be possible to be a truly independent artist and be able to market all your material to large numbers of people, to large populations. It is possible to get from your home, your music into millions of other homes, and so it's not easy, and maybe I mean, not easy at all, and there's probably a huge element of luck as well,
Hmm.
but it is possible, and that's pretty cool. I think it's
Yeah.
and even if you don't do millions, I feel like if you put the work in over time, you will build into something. And so even if
Right.
it's thousands, and so I feel like it is possible for anybody, if you really want to and you set your mind to it, you can build into a career of some sort,
Right.
using the internet and developing your music skills. Um, let's switch gears here and just talk a little bit
Yeah.
about some of your what you've done in music, since like starting out at, did you actually start out in the open mic scene, and then I know you've put together, you had Jericho and the Guardians at one point, and is that something that you've persisted with? Have you put in multiple different groups together, and I guess just different stages of your development and performance life? If you could just talk about that a little bit.
So I've been performing as a kid, from age 4 onwards. Like it's my way of, like some kids like do sports. My folks, got me into music. So I got into music. I mean, I really love music. I started writing songs, or lyrics and melodies in my head without an instrument. When I was, I think, around 10, maybe. And then it wasn't until I got to middle school. Well, okay, backtrack a little bit. My dad has always been trying to get me like into an instrument at a very early age. Because he did hear me sing and said, "Oh yeah, it would be beneficial like if you play an instrument too." So I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." But like baby James is just like, "Nah, I don't want to play an instrument." It wasn't until I have like notebooks filled and like tapes filled of like voice recordings. I was like, I have melodies. I actually want to work on these now, but I don't have a way to. That I told my dad, is like, hey dad, I think I'm ready to go pick up an instrument, like for real. And so everything that I'm doing right now with music, I feel like I'm getting started late. You know, I picked up the guitar at 12 in middle school. I didn't bother learning scales and licks and everything. I just want every instrument that I play to the bare minimum, because I just want to be able to produce and write songs.
Yeah.
you know so that's always been the case. So yeah, did that through high school and college. And then towards the end of college, I started venturing out to the Long Beach open mic scene. This around like 2014 to 2015 ish. Um, as I was, finishing up, met some cool people. And then I was like, yeah, I'm still not taking this, seriously. Like just like still just a very hobby that I'm gonna do like once in a while I'm finishing school. And then like 2015, I was just like, yeah, why don't we do it? Let's see how, what's gonna happen. I mean, if we actually are a regular at a different open mics in Long Beach. So that's what I started doing, and that's where I met you. I met a lot of cool people: Trey,
Yeah.
Nate Douglas,
Yeah.
who else? Lupe, and
Yeah.
and all the crew that I still keep in touch with. not as often as I want to, but I still do.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and going to open mics, like that's where I met like my future bandmate to form the first iteration of Jericho and the Guardians. It
Yeah.
was like I had this massive idea that I want a horn section. I want
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
synths and keyboards, and instead of your traditional four-piece band, this and that. I want it all. I want this thing. So backup singers, like, it was extravagant. It's like super extra. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we we would book gigs, and we would roll in 10 deep,
That's
like,
awesome.
like a squad of 10.
That's pretty
But
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I in 2017, I told myself, this is not working out for me financially, because I'm still investing everything, and making sure that each of these guys get a proper, I guess, like, compensation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though, like, guys like Lupe and Chris, our drummer, and George, they were telling me, it's like, James, it's okay if you can't, it's okay if you can't comp me, like, it's okay, because we're still growing.
Yeah.
And if we stick it out, then it's gonna come. And I was like,
Yeah.
but I feel guilty. Because, like, you're putting in time playing my
Yeah.
originals,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
100%. Yeah.
doesn't mean anything to you. That's like you, hiring a babysitter, and then, like, not being able to pay them. Like, these aren't your kids, but you're showing so much care for them. So,
Yeah. I hundred
you know what
percent
I mean?
relate. I 100% relate. I mean, I've run a band the last few years, and
Mhm.
I've tried to put different bands together at different times. But in particular, the band that I've been running or leading the last maybe 3 years now, knowing the Space Arc, 100% relate to that because people are investing their time in building
Right.
something that's it's everyone's, but it's primarily yours. You know, it's
Right.
you're the front person of it. It's your songs. You know, and
Hmm.
so it's like, yeah, you want to make sure that you're not wasting people's time. You know, and you want to make sure people get paid and all that. So I 100% relate to that. It's tough. It's very. I mean, I'm pulling together three different people. So pulling
Right.
10 or nine
Yeah.
different people, that's a lot. But then I would also say though, I think it's hard, but on some level, eh, you know, sometimes it's maybe worth trusting that, you know, because you will find
Mhm.
people that are believers in what you're doing,
Right.
and and they really are, they really do want to be part of it, and they really believe in you and want to build with and grow with you. And if you
Yeah.
find that, that's pretty cool. But it's hard to tell because sometimes
Yeah.
people say that and then it's not ends up, a few months later down the road it's like, yeah, yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So it like there was also pressure on me, because you have like 10 folks relying on this band moving forward in some way, and starting making revenue and profit.
yeah,
And the only way to do that is going into the local gig scene and say, hey, we can play like a 3-hour set. But even then, like, they don't pay as much as they should, for a 10-piece band.
100%, yeah,
um so, and I found that we were learning more covers than writing music. and
yep,
and like, the pressure of that, and just going off course, of not writing your own originals anymore. It just kind of was like, all right, I'm losing love, for this thing. It you know the it was a strained, like, relationship, between me and music. So we kind of had to separate, for a bit. And 2018 to like 2018 to I think around like 2020. The beginning of 2020 was when I told myself, yeah, I gotta get myself some sort of income outside of music, so that I could fund projects in music. And that's where I'm at right now. All the other guys, I haven't linked up with them in a while. But they're all like doing like their own little project. They're involved, like, in projects that they're very happy with, that deserves their service. And I'm happy with that.
yeah,
And I'm happy for for them. and their continued growth, because I'm always gonna have unconditional love, for all the band members that I've had over the years,
Yeah.
because they've taught me like a thing or two as well to develop me as an artist. Um, so yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I have a new squad right now.
Okay.
It's a third iteration of Jericho and the Guardians, and I think we are slowly finding a good mix, a good vibe, a good balance.
Okay.
Because even if I get like cover gigs, I'm making sure that it's the cover that I want and not trying to people please, you know.
Yeah.
It, and playing, like the same covers that every other cover band plays.
Yeah.
Like like you're not gonna hear Bad Fish or Proud Mary
Okay.
or Wagon Wheel
Yeah.
or any of those that 20 other like cover bands play. We're playing more of the things that you wouldn't usually hear coming from a five-piece band. We're doing more Motowns, more Ushers, more Chris Browns, more Neos, because we got to get him in there. I am moving away from Bruno Mars because ever since I stepped on the scene, everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, you're similar to Bruno Mars," and I was like, and I wrote that identification because, hey,
Yeah.
it it gets you hooked in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, dude, no. I mean,
Yeah.
I write
Yeah.
my own songs too. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so um, but that's where we're at right now. And I don't. I mean, I still feel guilty because I feel like my squad is so talented that they could be earning more, but they're more understanding that they're earning like a good amount right now from what I could provide. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Right, it's tough. I mean, yeah, I relate to so much of what you're talking about, but it's one thing to put the band together and then finding the opportunities and figuring out, it's like it's figuring out the scene and figuring out where you can
Mhm.
get different opportunities and which ones work for the band there's so many details. Uh,
Right,
yeah, there's like in terms of you might find a gig that pays well, but it's really taxing in terms of emotion and energy. So I've found that
right.
sometimes where it's like, yeah, you get paid, but there's a different kind of expectation, and
Hmm.
maybe it's not quite the right fit, and so then it's just uncomfortable a little bit, and it's like, I don't know, and then you end up feeling more drained, and that's a cost, and so then
Right.
was it really worth it? And but yeah, like I mean, I'll just say I was really from when I saw the first. I think I saw the first iteration of Jericho and the Guardians. I think that's probably the one I saw. What you remember the Zafaria station? You guys,
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, man.
yeah.
Um, was that the first one? Was that the first iteration? Yeah,
Yeah. That was in 2017. It's this lady's like backyard.
yeah, yeah,
Um, dude, side story, like real quick, right?
yeah,
She was so impressed by my little like 10-piece band
yeah, yeah,
that that she was like, oh, we want to hire you for like her niece or her daughter's wedding or something. And then she was like, yeah, it's gonna be like at this venue. It's like the yacht club
yeah,
by the marina. So I went and scoped out the place and see
yeah,
see what we're gonna need. I'm already doing like the legwork like on my end. I'm gonna need lights. I'm gonna need like sound system. To
yeah,
to fill the stream. I'm gonna need like a stage. So I'm already like in contact with other outside guardian contractors. People who provide those things. And then when the contractor gave me a quote, and they gave me like a home hookup. Right, they were like, "Oh yeah, James, we'll do it for you for like $200. It's okay because like it's our first
that's
time
good.
working together." It's like, all
Yeah,
right, cool. Um, I presented it back to the lady because she was like, "Oh yeah, what's your fee? Send me an invoice." And I was like, "Well, you wanted you wanted the squad of 10.
yeah,
It's minimum like $100
hundred per
each, so it's like
each.
a
Yeah,
thousand already
yeah,
plus the lights and all the other staging. So it
yeah.
took 1,200. You know,
But that's an
and
extremely reasonable quote. Extremely reasonable. That's
it
extremely
is it
reasonable. That's a great
for
value. Yes.
for a squad of 10 and two dudes, who's gonna break down the setup, lights, and everything,
That's
right?
an
So,
incredible value that you offered. Just
hmm
just throwing that out there.
yeah,
That's a steal. That's a steal.
yeah, right. And,
Yes.
and I told him, I was like, you know what? Let's break it down to like 1,000 even. So I'm not gonna make any money off of it. That's fine. As long as my guys are taken care of, right? So she didn't reply to me for a cool like 2 weeks, and then I texted her back, said, hey, just wanted to follow up like on the quote that I sent you, yay or nay. She was like, oh, yeah, we're just gonna go for a DJ. And I was like, so you
Yeah,
you appreciate what we do, but don't appreciate us enough to invest in us so that we could keep doing this. So
yeah. You're gonna get
it
that,
is
man.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's I have I won't. I'll tell you something another time. Okay,
Yeah.
but but there that is one of the things that for sure you run into, and I'm curious, like, um, you know, look. Okay, so what I was going to say earlier was that I thought that iteration, what I saw when I saw you guys perform as that group, I thought it was a great performance. I mean, like, let's see, it was just your group was so nice to watch. Like the group was so what's the word? It was so easy to want to watch you guys. It was so easy to want to be part of it. To want, and I think that is huge. It's so, and so I think you guys. I mean, I just think, and also I think it has a lot to do with you. I think it has a lot to do with your music. The way your style, the way that you're presenting, it's just very non confrontational, or it's accessible. That's the word I was going. It's very accessible. It's very and so I just think especially for live performance, when I saw you guys perform like that, I was like, I think you guys are about to like really spread out, and I feel like you got something here. It's because you're gonna appeal to so many different. You guys could fit in so many different places.
Right.
I don't. Yeah, I just feel like you could work in like all these different scenes and all these different kinds of
Mhm.
events, and so yeah. Then anyway, I would throw that out there, but I also want to throw out that I'm trying to think like from LA. So I've been out here in Charleston now, for a while, and I got plugged into the like private event stuff,
Yeah.
and so I'm familiar with some of what you're talking about. Where you will have people that just kind of blow you off, and but there are, and that doesn't matter because you didn't want to play for them anyway. I'm telling you,
Right.
you didn't want to
Yeah.
play for them.
Yeah.
If
Right. Yeah.
if you actually got there, if they agreed to it, or you managed to get them to agree to it, and then you got there and played, it's like they didn't value you, and so then there's gonna be this tension. You got to find the right dollar amount.
Hmm.
If you can find the right dollar amount where it really works for both parties, then it's almost certainly gonna be a really positive experience. If you can't, then it's like you already know, just don't even go there. It's not worth it because it's just going to be a tension, and there's going to be too much negativity on the backside of it. Um,
Yeah, that's one of the
yeah,
reasons why I'm very picky with the gigs that I do
yeah,
now,
yeah.
because
Okay,
at the end of the day, I'm still investing, out of like quite a lot, out of pocket. So I want to make sure that I get some sort of satisfaction and pleasure, from doing the
for
gigs.
sure,
I if you we like we have to be really tight, for you to ask me a favor, say, hey, it's my kid's baptism, or whatever, can you play like a set or something? I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do that for you. But I'm really picky on what I say yes to. I'm at the point right now where I'd rather pursue and chase, a gig, rather than get asked and then, well, I wouldn't say it that way.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but I think
I
I think I see where you're
you know
going.
what I mean?
But yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's like if you see one that you see as a good fit, you're gonna go
Hmm.
for that rather than just one that kind of comes to you, and then you kind of have to explore it. There's ones that could come that you have to explore what it actually
Hmm.
is, and you start to understand
Right.
more about what it is, and then you're like, oh, that's this. No,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, I'll talk. Maybe I'll talk to you a little more after we finish this. But I want to talk to you a little bit about private events, just between you and me, about because I feel like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like what you do. There's just no reason that like when you're talking about being that you're having to pay out of pocket. I just feel like you don't I don't think there's any reason you should have to do that. I feel like what you're doing It has enough value. When I saw you guys as a the 10-piece band, if you're doing something similar now with a new group, I just don't see how that couldn't possibly have a really good market value in LA. You know,
Right.
and so I just feel like, yeah, when you quoted 1,200 for that one, I'm telling you, I used to not think like this, but when you start to see more about what people are actually paying for the bands, um, and that's there in LA for sure. There's a scene.
Right.
There's uh Marcelo Enrique is somebody maybe you could connect with. Do you know him?
I think I might have bumped into him once in Seal Beach, and I have him somewhere in my Facebook friend list, but
Okay.
I haven't bumped into him since like ages
Yeah.
ago.
He might
Yeah.
not be a bad guy for you to connect with. I know he's still doing music in the area, and
Hmm.
I think he's kind of plugged into the like wedding corporate event kind of stuff,
Right.
and I feel like you could still do, like, I know you're saying you don't want to play like Brown Eyed Girl and like Wagon Wheel and stuff like that,
Or
which
minimum, like minimizing those type of songs.
yeah. I feel like you can still you know there's enough opportunities that you can find the right ones where you can be more authentically yourself, not having to just play
Right.
those those kind of songs. But that's cool, man. So how did you meet these guys that you're with right now?
Um. So post pandemic or during the pandemic, I really honed in, like the business balancing the book type of approach to music. My lead guitarist right now, we've been playing together at church since 2019. So when I was looking for a squad, I don't know like who's still available, who's still around, because during COVID, there's a lot of exodus of musicians from my network to go to Florida. Like you went to South Carolina. They went to more, I guess, relaxed state. When it comes to COVID
Oh,
restrictions, so to keep their business and their career going. So I lost a lot of those people, and either they just went away and never came back, or they went away for a while because that's where the work is, and they came back to Cali once everything opened up. But it was really difficult for me to find people to play with. So my lead guitarist right now is a dude from church. He graduated with a music degree, and I texted him and said, hey, I have a duo gig. Are you down to do it with me? Because I'd rather have someone else with me there playing lead instead of just me strumming chords. And it's like, yeah, I'm down, and it kind of grew from there. My bass player, I reconnected with my mentor from the South Bay. He's a talented dude too. Has a church background, so I reconnected with him. And originally, like, I wanted him to play keys, but he said, "Hey, like all the other bands that I play, and I play bass." So I was like, "All right, let's have you in bass." Um, the drummer was his buddy who he introduced to me eons ago too. And I just really gel well with him. He's like a big bro to me, so I hired him. And then we have a keyboard player. I really like him, but like this first gig, I really enjoyed playing with him like last month. But he's still kind of iffy about a project. So but he is my lead guitarist's homie from college. So
oh,
I'm gonna in,
yeah,
lean into him a lot to be like, hey, can convince your guy
yeah,
to stay here, because all I'm really asking is one band gig a month.
yeah, yeah,
Let's make it happen. You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So yeah. So
Okay,
that's our lineup right now. It's smaller than the squad of 10, but it's easier in the pockets, if that makes sense.
okay.
Yeah.
What parts of town do you guys usually play? Are you predominantly in one particular area of LA, or you kind of get around
So
different? Yeah.
so predominantly we're playing a lot in the South Bay. So that's Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach,
Mm,
Manhattan, Torrance.
yeah.
But I feel like I've been in that scene now since I began.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I want to branch out
Okay.
to Orange County,
Okay.
Seal Beach. I'm slowly breaking into Long Beach again.
Okay.
Um, I'm playing like like small little gigs at Ficklewood. I'm trying to plant myself in there. So
Okay.
Ficklewood, like, it's a cider place, like right next to Roscoe's on Atlantic. So it's a newer joint. So I'm trying to plant my foot in there and making that my Long Beach home venue. So so that at least I have one venue that will vouch for me, saying, oh yeah, he plays here regularly. You know, as we make our way to the Shoreline Village area of bars and everything. So yeah.
Let me ask you, what do you feel like your performances do for your listeners? Is there anything in particular that you feel like is the main thing that people get out of being at one of your shows, or is there a bunch of different things? Or, yeah, I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
Dude, honestly,
Yeah.
in the most like simplistic way possible, I want to provide an experience.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you're going to a bar, you're there to party, either because like you're having a great day, you're celebrating an event like a milestone, whatever, right? So you want to party, and or the flip side of that is you need to get yourself out of the space that you're in right now.
Yeah.
Whatever dark space that is. So you go into a bar, hang out with people, hopefully meet people. We want to provide the soundtrack to that. And my hope is that we make enough of a good impression that you at least scan my QR code, start streaming
Yeah.
my music, following me like on Instagram, and say, hey, you know what? When I was like in a shitty, or when I was having like a shitty ass night, I walked into a bar in Jericho in the Gardens, we're playing, and
Yeah.
they were cool. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm in that type of funk again. Where are they playing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
just that type of recall.
Okay.
Um,
That's good,
yeah,
man. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, you make a difference in their day, and just keep it simple.
yeah,
Um, that's really cool. Have you been writing lately?
I
Have you been
have.
writing any stuff? Okay.
I have. I have an album that I was supposed to release in early June, but I'm gonna push that back to probably mid July. Definitely, before my birthday. It's gonna be. I can't even keep count. It's gonna be my third full album. I've been writing like EPs.
Okay.
In the meantime, I think like my first album with the song like "You're My Lady"
Yeah.
and all the other things. That was me just kind of producing beats on my laptop and say, hey, I mean, let's mix this with with a homie who's doing it for free and learning as well, and put it out there in the ethos and see what happens. And then and then throughout that, between 2017 and 2022, I've been writing a bunch of like little EPs, a set of 4 or 5 songs, just to kind of learn on my own to better myself as a songwriter, as
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
producer, as an engineer, everything. Because COVID, dude,
Yeah.
like studios were closed, and if they were open, I get it. They had to, because like business was low. They hiked the price up the butt, like so much that you're just like, you know what, I'll watch YouTube videos, I'll learn how to do this,
Yeah.
buy books on Amazon. I have all this fucking free time. So yeah, I wrote and wrote and wrote, during COVID. I released like a bunch of EPs, and then in 2022 I released like Trojan Daydream, which is another set of 14 songs. um
Nice.
and and
All
no
this stuff is on
EPs.
Spotify. Like all this is stuff.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Sweet, man.
hmm
I'll have
so
to go listen to it.
so so no EPs, just a bunch of singles, to really like build up like this next album that's supposed to come out in mid July, or in early June, but now it's gonna probably go into mid July.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
You stayed busy. That's
I
good, man.
try.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try.
Three
Yeah,
albums. That's a good number.
yeah, I
Yeah.
try.
That's a
Yeah.
good number.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why people tell me as like, hey, where do we find you? Like there's no reason for them to say, oh, we can't find you, because the catalog is there. Like it's free for you to listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to subscribe to Apple Music or Spotify or something like that, and have ads free, go to YouTube.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, give my YouTube channel some love, because my
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
channel right now is boring, except for the fact that I have my albums on there.
Mm.
So yeah, give those a spin. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's so hard to like. I think it's to some extent attention deficit or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
you have so many different things. I mean, just think about how many times like me personally, I'll have something that I'm thinking about. I need to go do this thing, and then I get a text message. I pull my phone out, get a text message. Right, I'm looking, read the text message, and then just force of habit, I open up whatever other
Instagram.
app,
Yeah.
Instagram or YouTube or something, and then just to see, okay, is there? I don't know, just because I'm thinking about that text or whatever, and it's just a habit, and I open this thing up, and now I see, oh, that video looks interesting. I click that, and now I'm into this
Hmm.
world, and then I've when I finish this video, or if I got sucked in for 2 or 3 videos, by the time I come back out of this portal, then I'm like, what was the thing I was supposed to do? I
Right.
completely forget the thing that I actually needed to do. To
Hmm.
some extent, you just it's like a war for people's consciousness, and there's just so many things that are constantly just coming out to try to just get that attention. Um, I think like one of the things I'm thinking is as basic as it might seem. I just think email newsletters. I think if you can build, because that's something that I feel like even still, I check any email that comes in. I'm going to see that, I,
Hmm.
and I'm going to at least look at it and check out what it is. And so if you can get permission to send something to people's email inbox, and you can keep them motivated enough to stay subscribed, then they're at least whatever you send, they are going to see it.
Right.
And so if you can consistently put out something that's meaningful enough to people, then okay, they'll maybe you can start to get some clicks. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's an interesting game. it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah. It's a yeah. It's definitely, and there's a lot of like psychology that that goes into it. Is like, trying to figure out market trends, trying to figure out what's in right now, what would catch people's attention, what would keep their attention, because I think as we delve deeper into this technological revolution, attention span is just going to get shorter and shorter.
It is. Yep. I think you're right.
So yeah, it and I'm very active right now on TikTok, or I try to be, and they show you like analytics of when people kind of
Yeah.
doze off from your video, and I'm looking at it, and it's like 0.001 second, and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I haven't even sang a note yet. It's
I
like,
know. You gotta.
I haven't sang a note yet, bro. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to do something like right off the top that is like
Mm-hmm.
that. You got to have that hook, right? Just like a
Yeah.
song on some
Ah,
level. You got to have
yeah.
the whatever it is that's gonna like at least hook their attention to think, oh, there might be something here to watch, and then
Mm-hmm.
you got to keep it. It's like yeah, there's
Yeah.
and it's not that I'm saying that from I've listened to other people talk about it.
Yeah.
I've studied a little bit of what people that are being successful at it, what they are saying that you need to do, and watching kind of how they do it. I haven't yet really made that effort to try to do it myself. On some level, I don't want to. I don't know. There's all that, and I also just want to say like it's funny like when people hear. I wonder if people hear you talking like that, like we need to do these like I'm gonna get their email, and it's like this secret game. I'm gonna get your
Yeah.
email, and then I'm gonna get you to listen to my song, and it's like, but and it sounds like I'm this really manipulative person
Right.
that's like trying
Yeah.
to. I never wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Never wanted to do
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
I
It's
actually
like,
created music, and I tried to put my heart and soul into the music. And like I remember one time I played at the thing in Huntington Beach, this thing where there was the Huntington Beach Got Talent or whatever, and I remember I did a performance where I literally got so into the performance and it was such an authentic performance that I cried in the middle of the performance. And I thought,
mm-hmm.
there's nothing better than that. That's like pure emotion, pure art. And they didn't vote me. and I and
Yeah.
I and it's like I just feel like the pure art that you give to yourself, that's an important component. But for any doubters out there, there's this whole other component. The marketing side of it has nothing to do with it, and it's like it has to be done because
Right.
it's as much as non-musicians like listeners, you might want to believe that it's just about the art. It's really not the art. It's like that's like a half of it. That's half of the cookie or something
Right.
like that. And then there's this other half, and if you don't get the other half, nobody's gonna even know that the art was there. I'm I want to throw one other thing out that's on that same topic. The one other way that I really learned that lesson was playing out the 5 o'clock wine bar for Sundays, just over and over and over again. Every Sunday, I played for like 5 hours, and from 12
Oh, that's
noon
brutal.
to 5. Yeah, actually, it was 6, 12 to 6.
God
And
dang.
I know, I know. Back then, I was like excited about that. Now, when I think about it, yeah, no way. But
Oh,
whenever I would get there, there'd be nobody there. I didn't really have. I don't know. I had a little bit of a following, but not enough to like pull people out to on a Sunday at noon on a consistent
12,
basis
yeah.
at all. So usually there would be nobody there at the start, and then and there was the foot traffic, and there were two other main venues. Like there was Irish venue, and then there was the Boathouse,
Yeah.
and so you'd have foot traffic in that area, but also the wine bar itself didn't have a following, and so whenever I would start, nobody is there, just me and the staff, and then people
Yeah.
would be walking by, I'd be singing. It would be the hardest thing to get that first person to sit down. The first person was always consistently the hardest one. It could take 30 minutes, it
Mm-hmm.
could take 2 hours. And then as soon
Right.
as that first person sat down, then the second person would be maybe 15 minutes. It was always the second person was almost always significantly shorter time frame. And then as soon as there were two people, then now it's like it's going to start getting the people are going to come in. And it just showed me yeah, it has nothing to do with me. It's like getting that first person, that has to do with me. That has a lot to do with me to some extent. But so much
Right.
of it is just that social proof. As soon as other people start seeing, oh, other people vouched for this, so I'm not taking a social
Yeah.
risk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the same. It's the same thing that we're talking about with the internet stuff. It's like it's the chicken and the egg, or it's the catch 22. I don't. Anyway, that whole
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I feel like when we talk about this, because I know we're talking, uh, we could be talking to anybody. So I just feel like people that aren't really doing this, you might
They,
judge
they
that
won't
we're
get it.
yeah, yeah. You don't get it,
Yeah.
but it really is the marketing component. It's just the way people's brains work. It's just the way it is. And so, otherwise, I could just say right now, hey, go listen to our stuff and support us, and start
Right.
listening to our stuff because, we might be at a certain level now, but the more that we can be supported, the more people that are engaged. Like it's the same thing at a live performance. The audience makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're working with an audience that like they already off the bat for whatever reason are in a weird funk or they just didn't like your T-shirt or whatever, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it can be so much harder. I played something recently that was that way, where it's just like it didn't matter what I did. There's just like it's so hard to reach these people and get them to just hardly even move. And then other people just make it so much easier. And you can reach these heights of fun and performance that like you don't, it's so easy, and anyway, I that was a long thing, but, I don't
So
know. Yeah.
so yeah,
I did, yeah, yeah.
to me, I experienced that too because like you can be playing like the best set of your life, but if the crowd ain't into it, then you're like okay,
Yeah.
it's no effort. So what I try to do is
Yeah.
I try to use like the staff that's there to my advantage,
I like
and
that.
and I start like giving them like a like a little shout out. It's like, oh, like so and so is our bartender today. Like there's this is what their pick is. When it comes to what's on tap. Here's the recommendation. So if you're still
That's
kind of
good.
coy on what you want to try their recommendation or don't. But whatever
Yeah.
you do, go ahead and show your appreciation, give them a tip because while we're out here rocking, they're making sure that we're fed and hydrated. Um, and
That's smart.
I've been fortunate enough that the staff members at the most recent venues that I've gone to they're good sport because I explained to them, hey, when I flirt with you on stage, I mean, it's not like that. It's, I'm trying to get you some tips too, because I'm recognizing you, like I'm vouching for you. It's like, hey, yeah, Miss Bianca is your server. She works hard. I'm dedicating all my love songs to her right now. So make sure to take care of her and buy her a drink on and give me credit. Some shit like that, because in a way, like, that's also entertaining. You
Yeah, yeah,
know, and I've gotten like feedback from staff members saying, "Hey, James, thank you for doing that,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I've gotten like a lot of tips." I was like, "Oh, I'm just doing my part,
That's awesome.
because you guys, you guys are a part of this machine as well. We're just kind of like
100%. Yeah.
taking like center stage, on stage, but behind the scenes, like, it's you guys, so
You get it, bro. You get it. Yeah, that's it. That's it is.
I try.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
try.
it's and two. There's another angle to this that I'm thinking is, you get if you can get anybody on your side, it helps because if if
Yeah.
uh, if you get if now this especially the staff, if anybody in the staff is now happy to have you in the room, they might start dancing a little bit, while they're serving
Hmm.
or whatever. And
Right.
then this person sees that and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then they just, it helps loosen everybody up. And,
Right.
and so this is also for to the naysayers again, like, it's those, we're thinking about these, or we're talking about these sort of, you could call it manipulations. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get everybody to have a good time and loosen up and have fun and relax and get rid of the pretense.
Yeah.
And then we're here in this space where we're just having a good time. And so that's kind of, to some extent, we on some level we like to get up there and just play music, or at least I would. I just like to get up there and play music and have everything work. But it just doesn't go that way. And you have to
Yeah.
kind of do this and do this, and then you kind of like loosen, put some grease here, and I know, yeah. So I
Yeah.
like that, getting the staff involved, and that's really smart and just nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure the
Because
staff like that.
because when they move elsewhere, and you still like keep in contact with them, like on social media or something, when they move elsewhere, and you ask them, say, hey, like, you're not working at Hennessy's anymore. It's like, oh yeah, I don't. I moved like to this new bar. We also do music, and I was like, dude, like, who's booking music over there? And it's like, oh yeah, it's this dude. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, I could name drop. Oh yeah, Miss Bianca says that you're the guy, doing music, and she would vouch for me because she's been regularly like the server at the other venue that I'm at, like, every once a month. So
That's smart, man. That's good stuff. Hey, let's see if I'll put this performance video real quick. That I've got of you. Do you want to
do
set
you
it
want
up
me
at
to mute
all? Yeah.
myself real quick? Or no, never mind. So what
No,
was
you
that
can
again?
just do it. Do you want to set it up real quick in terms of telling people where it is and maybe what the song, or yeah, any kind of background to let people know what it is?
Okay, so I lied. This album that I'm working on is actually my fourth album, because like this
Okay.
clip right here that we downloaded from TikTok is is a performance of me and Lupe Montiel, from, like, an OG Guardian, um, from back in the day. We are performing this at a singer songwriter feature night in Fullerton, California, at a spot called the Night Owl Cafe.
Cool.
So Rod Harrison, he's a great host. Like, he hosts this every Saturday. There's like four acts, and I took the opportunity of Rod, using his meticulousness, with the sound, to record this with my iPhone, and then use that audio to record it into my first live album that's out on streaming as well. So this is called Unofficial Boyfriend, and it's from 2021.
Cool.
You make me wanna drive down the freeway fight. And if I leave it now, I drive like hell. I don't stop, I'll be with you tonight. You make me wanna feel, girl, why you gotta be so mean? I read between the lines, always saying what is written on my cell phone screen. So here we go again, trying to play it cool. You don't gotta pretend that you don't want me to.
So tell your unofficial boyfriend that you're done with him. So tell your unofficial boyfriend that you're done with him. Cause I'll be coming through, making love to you. Give commitment that it sure ain't true. So tell your unofficial boyfriend that you're done with him. 'Cause you're done with him.
Nice. That's awesome. What? Let's see. I gotta get the right scene back here. Wrong scene. There we go. Nice. Unofficial boyfriend. When did you write that?
I wrote that late 2020. Yeah, mid to late 2020, and then did my little amateur engineering in my laptop in my bedroom, like in the middle of COVID, and then I released it in 2021. Just kind of be like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still making music, and I'm
Yeah.
still improving, and this is me engineering and mixing and mastering like my own tracks. Check it out, and I mean, if you think like this is good, I mean, it's only going to go up or maybe down
Yeah.
from in quality from here. So you never
I
know.
like that.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so you got three albums out, and you got a fourth about to come out. That's the correct thing. Okay. What are the
Mhm.
three albums called? And you can find all these on Spotify.
Shoot, like go
Sorry,
to my Google
putting you on the
Docs real
spot.
quick. Hold up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No
Yeah.
worries.
I mean, I feel like every single one now has been bundled into one that they're just like, oh crap, I don't remember what they're called. So the three full albums, one is called Mix and Match
Okay.
because it's a mix and match of produced songs and acoustic, singer songwriter
Okay.
me in my bedroom type of songs. Um, the second one is Trojan Daydreams, that came out in 2022, and then the one that came out earlier this year is called Live Acoustic Set from the Night Owl, which is
Okay.
that clip right there. So
Cool.
so yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. If anybody out there listening, go check those out. I'll just throw a little compliment to you, James. I feel like I don't think I've ever told you this, but
Oh
I remember
no.
we did me and Nate. We recorded a song together with you.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
called Open Mic Night. And I'll use
Mm-hmm.
that. I'll use that to segue too into asking just about open mics because I think you ran one. But I just wanted to tell you that I think when I think about like Nate and I worked with a lot of different singers during that time. We worked for 2 years together where we recorded a whole bunch of different people, and I I would say well, I hope you can take this in the way that I mean it. I think you're a good singer. I think we work with maybe a few that have a little more technical skill, but I think that
Right.
you have, in terms of just a naturally tonally pleasing voice. For me, when I heard you in the studio, it sounded like candy in my ears.
Oh,
It's,
thank you.
I'm telling you, man. Like when it came in my ears, I was like, "Whoa!" I don't even feel like I have headphones on. I feel like I just something magical. Like I don't know. There was the audio sensation that your voice created. It's just like usually with most people's voices, there's certain qualities that maybe most of the people that are trying to do this, they have pleasing voices in one way or another,
Right.
or they have some merit to their voice. But yeah, yours to me stood apart. I think from anybody else's that we listened to, just as a very it was so smooth. It's so smooth. And I feel like sometimes it's hard to tell when you hear people out live, in whatever open mic system. But when I heard you in the studio, man, it's like it's super, super clean. So I throw that out there as even maybe more motivation for anybody to go give it a listen. I'm really curious to see how it how you
So
recorded yourself. Yeah.
thank you for saying that because it took me a while to hear myself on record to kind of convince myself. I was like, ugh. It's like it,
Yeah.
even like rough drafts that I have like on SoundCloud. And I listen back to it, it's like, ugh, dude, like that's you singing, ugh. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but it wasn't until I started like even when it worked like with other engineers, like it's not their fault. I mean, like they're so good at what they do, but every time I listened to the finished product and I was like, it's not good enough. It's like, nah, maybe if Harry Styles sings this song, it's gonna be better. But during COVID, because I actually had to listen to my own damn voice, and try to add, like the echoes, and the EQs and everything. I kind of learned to appreciate, and just accept. It's like, dude, this is your fucking voice. Live with it. So, so,
Yep.
so yeah. But thank you so much, for that
Yeah, man.
compliment, because that's validating, dude. That's
Yeah, yeah.
validating.
Yeah, man. No, you got that's I think that goes too with just overall your presentation. I feel like you've got a very accessible um just what you have to offer is it's very easy to get into. There's nothing that really that puts you off, That's at least how I. Hey, you know what? This just reminded me of this is we'll switch gears here again.
Yeah.
Do you remember a performance at the Helata Gallery? Do you do you remember there was one time you were performing there, and there was that you were performing like I think an hour long set, and I was there, and there was a guy that was there, kind of like in the front row or sort of like off to the side, and the dude like started playing YouTube videos out loud in the middle of your set. Do you remember that? If you
I
don't
think he
remember
was
that,
drunk as fuck too. He was
he
like so hammered, dude.
he was
It's like,
pretty. He
it's
was a
so
pretty.
funny.
He was a pretty young dude. Like he was like he seemed like somebody that was actually involved in the mic scene. In fact, I feel like you maybe even you knew him, or he knew you, because I think he was going to join you for a song or something like that, or he went up and played a song with you. Do you remember this at all? It was quite some time ago, so no worries if not. No.
No. Yeah.
Well, in
That.
some way, it's probably better that you forgot it. But anyway, I was just gonna. If you did remember it, I'll say it anyway. I just remembered when that happened. I just couldn't believe it because it was so. I thought it was so disrespectful. And this guy was a musician, or at least he was. I mean, he was there supporting or whatever. And then he just starts blaring out these YouTube videos, and he's gonna go play a song with you or something like that. And then I just remember now. I wish I would have just like kicked the guy. I don't know. Like, I remember back then I was like, dude, it's I don't know. Now if I knew then what I knew now, I would have got up and like just like told him to leave or something. I don't know. I just
Okay,
thought that'd
I
be
do
funny.
remember this. It
Yeah.
it was like a featured night, during the 2018 Grand Prix.
Yeah,
It,
yeah. I think that was probably
yeah,
right around there.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was me, Mooney, and some other dude, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So so Mooney went first, and then this other dude, he still does music, by the way, and thank God he's sober.
Okay, okay.
These days, because I still follow him, like, in my in my burner Instagram account. Um, so but yeah, yeah, he was so hammered, dude.
Okay, okay,
I didn't even take offense to that, because, like,
okay.
even when he came on before me, he was already, like, slurring his words, kind of playing, like, the wrong chords and everything. So it's like,
Yeah.
he was just hammered,
Okay.
and I just went up there. I was like, okay, Gio, I'm gonna try my best to follow that and salvage, this show, because, I don't know. I mean, I think I should have just gone second, and, have him gone last. So, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but Mooney and Gio, insisted, no, you have to be the main guy tonight. And I was like, man. So, okay, but yeah, I do remember that,
Yeah.
because I posted a video on Instagram, kind of like how we do, like, my gratitude post now,
Yeah.
and I used the video that you posted. I downloaded it off Instagram, and then I used the video that you posted,
Oh,
and
nice.
then I I could hear you in the background, singing harmonies.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
So yeah, I do remember that, but
Yeah.
he's a great guy. He's a
Okay.
loving father now. He's sober, and he's still
Okay.
doing music, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah. Cool. That's funny. That just memory just came back to me. But
yeah,
let me ask you about open mics. You hosted one for a little while, right? Or are
I'm
you
still
still
hosting
hosting
one right
one?
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, where are you hosting this open mic? How long you been hosting it, and why did you decide to host one?
So I've been hosting open mic for a year. So the year anniversary is January 26th. So a year, and a half almost. And we hosted a Project Barley Square in Torrance. So a little bit about the establishment. Project Barley has three locations: one in Lomito, which is the flagship; one at the Redondo Pier, which is the second one; and our one is the newest location. So on all of the locations, they have open mics on different days. The Redondo Pier is on Wednesday, and the one in Lomita is on Monday, or used to be on Monday until they discontinued it, and we do it Thursdays from 7 to 10. So all the open mics are uniform, like in different days, but from 7 to 10. Each venue has a different vibe to their spot. Ours is more. If you go to the Redondo Pier, I mean, it's more of like a party vibe. Bring out your covers. If you want to perform open mic, but
Okay.
the ones that I host, I mean, it's more of like listening room, a singer songwriter, back to the college coffee house type of vibe. And I encourage people to bring their originals. But if they don't have originals because like they're still starting out, that's fine. Play your covers. We are still going to be here to listen and appreciate you, because we want to build a community. And how I got started with this was, um in January, I got called by the guy who always books me a Project Barley in Redondo, saying, "Hey, I have an opportunity for you. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to be interested." So I told him, I thought, I mean, it was going to be more gigs, or that would lead me into more venues. But what he asked me was to host his open mic at this other branch that they're opening in Torrance. Um, and I thought to myself, okay, I'll go scout out the place. I scoped out the place, like it's in the middle. It's in the corner of Torrance Boulevard and Van Ness, and there's no foot traffic. So you really know, you really have to know that the venue is there, for you to know, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we don't have like foot traffic, and um I'm so proud that over the year or so, we have built this community enough that I feel like we're the biggest profit, out of all the three open mics. Monday was discontinued because it wasn't bringing in revenue. Wednesday, well, they benefited from foot traffic, but from us, with no foot traffic at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
we have built this community to be bigger and better than than what the Wednesday is. When we had like our 1 year like celebration, it was packed. The patio was there.
Nice.
People had to go find like street parking, and this is not just like the performers trying to get in, like their one song in for to partake in the anniversary. Like these are other musicians saying, "Hey, even if I don't get on the list,
This will come
I
in.
want to be here, dude.
That's cool.
Because I'm part of this." And my thing is, we don't
Nice,
have the
man.
backing of big corporate media. So when you're on that stage, please play your originals, because we're if if we don't stream it, ourselves, then nobody else will. Well, maybe our mom and our grandma will, but other than that, so
Yeah.
use this as a platform to say, hey, I had the song on Spotify. Listen to it.
Yeah.
I'll play it for you now live, but it's coming out soon. Go listen to it. Because I always say, I mean, if Justin Bieber wants a feature night with us, like, he knows where to find us. But this is your featured night. If you want to play like a Bieber song, by all means go for it. But it would not benefit
Okay.
you a
Yeah.
lot, because we could hear Bieber
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I like that. Yeah, people recognize the song, but especially if you're playing to musicians,
Mm-hmm.
then it's probably better to play an original. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. But some settings, yeah, because yeah, exactly what you said. You can go listen if you really want to hear that Bieber song. You can open your phone and go listen to it.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna get the genuine local musicians and what they're writing and what they're working on. Other than the only way you're gonna get that is to go find them.
Yeah.
And that's cool, man. So I take it you've really enjoyed building this thing and running the open mic and stuff. Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
do.
Nice.
It's one of the things that I look forward to every week, is giving artists like a stage to do their thing. Give them a spotlight, give them an opportunity to share their blood, sweat, and soul and tears, and on the
Yeah.
stage. So I enjoy that a lot. More than it to some extent. When we start at 7, I usually have to play a set to kind of introduce people, and I'm
Sure.
very open about this. I was like, hey, if it's 7 o'clock, I mean, all I gotta do is say my welcome spiel, and to get the first person up. I mean, that's gonna be my main mission and goal. That's a good night for me. I mean, if I don't have to play at all.
Nice.
So
Do you feel like have you, do you feel like you're in a position like you used to be going to all the open mics, and now you're running one? Is the, was there a does it feel different? Like, do you feel like you learned from all these experiences and you can kind of understand what you were doing when you first started, and so you have more understanding about these people that you're working with now, and that you can kind of help them on their journey? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
yeah, because I think with me, I I learned when I was a rookie, and I do apologize. I mean, if you felt this this vibe from me, but I was quite like egotistic. I mean, I came into the open mics and I'm thinking to myself, fuck all these people. I don't care about these guys. I'm gonna go block Mamba like on these motherfuckers and just play. And what I realized was is like, no, that's competition. Like you don't need to compete with music. I mean, if you wanted to, like if I wanted to compete, I mean, I would have picked up a sport, soccer, basketball. I mean, I enjoy watching them, so why not play them? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
but music, I want to bring more people in with music, and I certainly got that from you when you used to host that thing at the traffic circle. It was a
yeah.
short lived venue. You were just
Yeah.
like so welcoming, dude. I was like, I like
Thanks,
this
man.
dude. It's like and SG, it's the same way. Sean Gallagher,
Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
was the same way, and I was like, and there were a bunch of like open mic hosts that I've encountered recently that I know for a fact that they hated me when I wasn't a host, and we were on the list together, and now that they finally got their own venue that they're hosting, like you could tell how much of a hater they were, and I never want anyone to feel that way, because at the end of the day, we're all like music lovers, and we're all just humans.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I personally didn't get that sense. I mean, maybe a little bit, in terms of, but I feel like there's almost, I feel like that's so natural to stage performance. On some level,
right,
you got to have some maybe unwarranted self confidence, to think that people should listen to you, and that you should be on a stage, and I'm gonna
but
be, you got to have
yeah,
some kind of confidence, and I think, and I can relate too that a lot of times I've found myself thinking, oh, I'm better than that, or I can do this better or whatever, and
right.
yeah, I bet that's pretty natural to most of us. So
Yeah,
um,
but not
yeah,
to a point where it's off-putting, because like you're not doing yourself any favors. I mean, if you're off-putting,
yeah,
because no, nobody
yep,
would want to
hundred
work with
percent,
you. Like nobody would want to follow you and listen to your music, because like you're a dick. He's like, no matter how good your
yeah,
song is, you're still a dick. It's
yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, and there's
yeah,
at the open mic level. I mean, it's we're all on the same level. We're all in the same boat, and so
right,
yeah. So you got to understand. Yeah, it's a every once in a blue moon there might be one person that comes along that just is like super super, and like they just
yeah,
they're kicking on all, or they're firing on all levels.
mm-hmm,
Like they've but it's also just hard when you're starting out. You don't know, and so
yeah,
you think you're this, but then years of experience, you look back and you're like, oh, I was this.
mm-hmm,
Okay, I see now. Okay, I was doing this well, and then but then also, the cool thing about it too is sometimes you also at the same time that you give yourself a lot of credit, you're really confident. There's other ways that you diminish yourself. I don't know if you relate to that, where you think you're not as good in this way, but then actually time can reveal ways that some of your strengths that you didn't appreciate too.
Right.
And I've seen that too. But yeah, that's interesting. But yeah. No, I didn't get that vibe. And that's funny. It's funny to me that you would have any haters. I don't see why
Oh
you'd have
yeah,
haters. But
I would. I I will not name names, but when I
yep.
was starting out, these open mics, I would go into the community like in Long Beach, and there's a host, who host or who took over hosting a Tuesday night like open mic. I'm not gonna name names, but when I was packing up. When he visited my open mic, he started asking me, like, hey, how much do you earn on this? And doing this gig, and I was like, oh, I don't make money out of this, because I mean I do this out of the love, like this is my escape from whatever's making me money, so
Yeah.
and then he was really like adamant about, oh yeah, well you should charge like this rate and this rate, because they have three branches, and it's like, they may have three branches, but they're still barely making it out of the red. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and I think like it's that type of attitude that garners me haters, because I tell it as I see it. Most of the time, maybe you would agree to this, but the venue has to be like a win-win too, because if they're not making money to pay you,
100%
then
yes.
you know what I mean. So it's like,
100% yes.
and and, and I've heard people, like moan about, it's like, oh yeah, there's now like a $10 minimum, for us to be able to get on the list. And it's like, but you guys are the same people who don't want to spend that 10 or $5 drink minimum for a smoothie, and when the venue closes, like you guys, same guys, that are moaning, we lost another venue. Well, I wonder why. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Man, I had I saw a post. I was already in a bad mood, but I saw, so that didn't help. But I saw a post recently on like a South Carolina gig website or Facebook group page, and this post was some venue owner out of like Greenville, and they were launching a new restaurant, and they said they're looking for talent, or looking for musicians for
mhm.
a 5 to 8 p.m. gig on a Friday or whatever, once a week. Maybe it was on a
Happy
Saturday or
hour.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And they were offering $300 plus food and drink. They said they didn't want to go over 300. So essentially, they're offering 300, because once people say I don't want to go over 300, then basically all the offers that come in are going to say 300 for the most part. So
Right.
they're offering 300 for 3 hours and food and drinks. Which, what do you think when you hear that? How does that sound?
So
Yeah,
so they give you free food and drinks,
food and drink and $300
and you're solo.
solo. Yeah.
How long are you driving out there to? Or
Well, if I was driving to Greenville, it would be multiple hours. But I'm not talking for me. I'm talking for anybody that's in Greenville, just in general. Like a $300 3 hour gig, if it's in your vicinity, solo. How does that sound?
so 3 hours, right?
Yeah, 3 hours.
If I'm local, I mean, I'm okay with that, because $300, I mean, is what we're getting for a full band.
Yeah.
It,
So
you know,
yeah. So
but but
yeah.
but if you're
Like,
telling me like $300 and you want like a full band, from prime time slot, then I was like, go stick your finger where the sun don't shine, man. It's like,
no. So it's solo. This is for a solo gig.
yeah.
So for me, when I see that 300 for a local solo gig is really good, and especially with food and drinks, 300.
Oh yeah.
That's top of the top for a typical local. There's
Hmm.
scenes that are different, but in most scenes, I think that's really good. And then one of the top comments on this post was somebody saying that they shouldn't offer a penny less than 500, and they called him a cheapskate. and and I was just like, like, dude, there's lunatics out here, man.
Hmm.
there's
Right.
there's lunatics out here, man.
Right.
And the problem that it creates is that what it does is now it's not like one person ruins everything, but like that sentiment it is so aggressive and so uncalled for, and also just ridiculous that the person that's out there creating a job opportunity and just throwing and a good one, you know, now they're having to deal with all this negative sentiment that they're going to associate with the music with musicians, and
And
so
they won't be open to it anymore.
yeah, and so you're just hurting everyone.
Yeah.
You're just hurting opportunities. That's a perfectly good opportunity for tons of people. Like even people that are working musicians in a local scene that have been at it for a while. That's a great opportunity because you can get it on a consistent basis if they like you,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to worry about the consistent like booking effort. It's just there. It's a recurring
Dude,
thing. Yeah.
dude, the way I see it,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're like the top echelon
Yeah.
performer, like in your scene, you're earning like 1K average, per gig, right? It doesn't hurt to have like these small gigs for a little bit of extra cash. Who says no to a little bit of extra cash? Easy. 3 hour show, breaks every 45 minutes, free food, and, and you don't even gotta drive that much. Now, if
Yeah.
you're saying to me, right? I mean, let's say like the same situation was in Riverside County, which is like an hour or
Yeah.
two away from me, and you tell me $300, 3 hours, solo, and I would have been like, no,
Yeah.
no, because of gas alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's on a Friday from 5 to 8, I'm definitely gonna have to leave work early and use some of my sick time. Hell no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, you know.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, no, all that stuff factors in. I've got a whole quoted system, but it's just yeah, some like understand. Well, it's I'm trying to speak to that respecting the venue owner and respecting the
Hmm.
restaurants, and that's just a whole side of things that I feel like
Right,
a lot of people like is what you said that like when you're talking about announcing, tip your bartenders or like even
right.
calling by name and saying how they're
Hmm.
taking good care, and you make it more personal. You're getting everybody involved and you're respecting that we're all part of something, and you're not putting one person above the other or having this
Right.
ego, and and that's one thing I feel like I I don't know how, but I feel like there's a decent amount of musicians that don't understand how difficult the restaurant business is. Like a lot of restaurants close, and people. It seems like there's at least a decent number of people out there that think that these places just have endless pockets of cash or something, and they no, like a lot of them really struggle to make, and the rent's really high, and
Hmm. Staff and
it's
utilities.
a whole, yeah. I mean, that's running a restaurant is like a serious operation. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of people that need to get paid, a lot of I don't know. It's just it's not. That's a tough thing to run, and a lot of restaurants fail. It's probably like it's a pretty high percentage. Like I would guess it's over 50% of restaurants probably fail. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know what the actual number is, but
You're
anyway,
right.
it's a tough business. You got to appreciate anybody that's out there making a restaurant business and then creating an opportunity for musicians to come perform. That's a pretty cool thing. Like bottom
Right.
line, whatever they're offering, I feel like you can respect that they created an opportunity, and yeah, and just be happy that somebody did that. You didn't have to do that. They did
Right.
that. They made this thing where you have this chance to come in and get paid to play to do what you do, and you wouldn't have that if they weren't there. So
Right.
thank them, and
Right.
if you
That-
don't want the
a little
job,
bit yeah, a little bit
yeah,
of humility, goes a long way, and a little bit of understanding both sides of it. Because one of my favorite venues in Long Beach is actually on Fridays, and they don't do this anymore because the venue closed down. And keep in mind that even when Miss John or when John and Miss Tiamo, was running it, the place was already struggling, so I would make it like a mission to at least like order food or like a really large size extravagant smoothie, just to kind of order, one of the pricier spots to try to save the venue.
Yeah.
And then the coffin, I think, came, during the pandemic when nothing was
Yeah.
going on. And they signed up with Grubhub and DoorDash and this thing, and it still didn't save them. And it's still closed right now. I mean, it's still, still, I drive by it every day, and there's a
Yeah.
sign that says for lease,
Nice.
restaurant, whatever you
Yeah.
want to do with it. And it sucks. And like that goes back to us, like, not supporting the venues, um during open mic. And when they give us an opportunity, and hey, this is what they're capable of paying us. If you're not interested, scroll on.
Right, right,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly. You just
Because
got to appreciate the actual what's true. You
yeah.
got to be able to see kind of see look at what's true. And for sure, there are some venues that maybe they're trying to get a cheap, they're trying to get away with not with paying, underpaying for what the values are. But then there's a bunch of other
Hmm.
ones that are doing everything they can to keep their door open and try to create opportunities. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. So you got to try to see things the way they are and do the right thing. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. That's a whole interesting side of things. Anyway, I just that post was the other day, and it just reminded me of that.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
yeah. Go ahead. Go
stopped
ahead.
going, like, on those forums, because I don't know, dude. I mean, I feel like every time I ask or inquire about, something, there's all, for the most part. I mean, like, there is some cool people, who would genuinely give you information. And there's always that one asshole who'd be like, oh, you really, like that? That's a low ball offer. It's like, dude, if you weren't interested, scroll on. Like,
Yeah,
geez, for real.
yeah,
It's like, yeah.
yeah. I finally don't take them too seriously anymore. When I see that, I'm just like, I just immediately, because for a stretch of time you don't, maybe they're right, but then like before you kind of have a better view of everything, and then when you have a better view, and it's like you just instantly know, nope, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and
Hmm.
they're gonna learn one way or another. It's gonna, if they, you know what I mean? Like that's not gonna serve them very well if they continue, if that's their view. That's
Right.
not gonna win them very much favor with anybody, and it's not gonna get them any opportunities. And so you're welcome to continue having that view.
Yeah. Putting yourself in a box there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, it's been great to catch up with you, and
Dude, for real, man.
yeah,
For real.
man. I want to talk to you just before when we go off. I'd love to just talk to you real quick about maybe some ideas that I have for you.
Yeah. Please do.
And is there? Let's see. When do you know for sure when your next album's going to come out?
No,
Okay.
it's
And
up in the air.
do you have any shows upcoming that you'd like to mention? There might be some people
Um,
that see this that are in LA. I don't know.
Long Beach on Saturday from 7 to 9 at Ficklewood.
Okay.
Ficklewood Excited Works. It's right next to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Cool.
So if you want to grab like an early dinner at 5:30 or 6 or something, and then get wasted on cider, with me, serenading you, go ahead and do that. And Thursday night open mics at Project Barley Square. I host it. You may not hear me sing, but you're gonna hear a bunch of my homies play. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thank you again, everybody. This is James Castillo, aka Jericho and the Guardians. If you're listening to this, go check out his stuff on Spotify and Apple Music, all that stuff. He's got 3 albums, a 4th that's going to be coming out shortly. And thank you, James. It's been a pleasure to get to talk to you. And yeah, man.
No, thank you. Give it up for the host, Noah. It's nice catching up with you, man. Huh?
Cool, man.
All
All
right.
right, all right, everybody. We are peacing out. I'm gonna throw the outro music on, and then we'll take it down. And they can still hear us for right now, but not for long. And then we're gonna talk about all the real stuff. That was all the fake stuff just for you guys. No.
This is actually a very good outro music thing.
You like it?
Yeah.
Well-
Did you make it?
Yep.
Nice.
Music doesn't need to be too hard. It's the same thing with
Right.
mixing and mastering. You've probably found this too. That you can overthink it, you know,
Right.
and really what's going on is not. It doesn't have to be hard, you know. All right.